For the past couple of weeks, I've been grinding on the Advancius network, a Skyblock server where you compete against other players to become the richest island. The past 3 videos in a row, I've tried to hit number 1, and every time, I failed. Until I found this. You see, on Advancius, everyone thinks villager spawners are the meta, and at face value, they're right. In a 5-minute head-to-head, villagers made $1,228.50. While the same value in skeleton spawners only made $1,110.15. So on paper, villagers are superior, right? What if I told you that this entire server is missing one massive detail? And in today's video, I'm going to show you the farm that I use to finally break the economy. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and let's get straight to it. To start off with, we immediately began making a platform for our farm to go on. And using the extend one, this was actually done really fast. So now that the platform is done, we can go ahead and start building the spawner part of the farm. I'm also going to put a sign here, and boom. We have finally finished this part of the farm. So the next step of the farm is going to be the item filter, and here's how this looks and works in regular Minecraft. So obviously the loot will be coming from these hoppers here, and the bones will be separated down into this chest. Then after that, the arrows will not go in here, and they will flow into the chest, and basically the items will be separated. Now this is important because we are going to need these bones to go into autocrafters to be automatically producing bone meal for us. Now with this exact setup, we did actually run into a little bit of a problem on Advancius. I think it was due to the tick speed, as well as when the server restarted, this redstone torch I believe would flick off sometimes, which would obviously break the item filter. But I'll show you guys how we fix that later in the video. But for now, let's get right back to building. Alright, so let's test this out now. We're going to throw a stack of glass, a stack of smooth stone. The glass should come down here, and it does, and the smooth stone should come up here, and it does. Perfect. Alright, and so yeah, the next step of the farm is going to be building the autocrafters. And for whatever reason, I built these in the most obscure way possible, and I did end up having to rebuild these quite a few times, actually. But for now, I'll show you guys what I originally made, and you will see the finished product at the end. So we're going to need to change the filter to the arrows, of course, because we are going to want to be crafting bone meal, these auto crafters, so we can go ahead and set all of these up. Boom. And perfect. Now, all that we had to do was get all of these crafters set up on an infinite clock and push all of the bone meal into the same blocks so that they stack properly. And after that, we were finally able to start building the kelp farm. Alright, and just like that, the kelp farm should be done. Now basically, once this chest gets filled up with bone meal, it'll distribute it to these 4 dispensers. You flick this lever on, it'll grow automatically and be harvested automatically. Now here's the thing, I actually am going to bring this back a little bit here. We're also going to do a sign there. We're going to break these. Honestly, I'm going to break that sign too. We're just going to move it out one more. While you guys are watching me try and troubleshoot how to hook up a hopper to this chest, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I want to see if we can hit 25 likes on today's video. It's a pretty high goal, but this video took me probably 30 hours to finish, and I would really appreciate it. Alright, that should work. And this is going to lead to the next farm we have right beside it, because we're going to do a few of these right here because they're just super overpowered. But before we do that, I actually want to show you guys how this works. So yeah, let's go ahead and place these skeleton spawners and see how it works. This is the process. So the skeletons will spawn, then they'll die. The loot is dropped down here into the auto filter. It should start crafting bones. Oh, but since the server restarted, we do have to replace these observers. So yeah, we'll do that real quick. And yeah, so just like that, it is going to be automatically smelting and crafting our bones. The arrow filter is not working for some reason. Should be working now. yeah, then the bone meal is transported up here into these hoppers and evenly divided amongst these dispensers. And then we flip this lever on and the kelp will start growing and drop down to right here. We're going to turn that off for now. And I did realize something that we need to do. So we have to get some auto cell collectors here. So we're going to head over to our PV6. We have a bunch of these. So we're going to break this, replace it with glass. And now just because this is actually collects a lot, we have to move it very far away. So we're going to hook this up over to the arrows. And then the arrows will start flowing through here. And those will be automatically sold right here. And then also just because we're going to put another auto cell collector somewhere around here, just so that the kelp can automatically sell too as we farm it. We're going to place that like right there. And boom. Perfect. Step 1 is complete. Now we're going to sit with these skeletons for a little bit. And let's let these chests fill up so we can run the farm. All right. Well, it has been a few minutes. And as you guys can tell, we have filled up the bone meal pretty much all the way in this farm. The dispensers are all maxed, and we're going to go ahead and flick it on and AFK this for about 4 minutes or until we get the next auto cell chat message to see how much we actually make. All right, so after 4 minutes, we made a grand total of $9,236, which does not sound like much. But you also got to realize, like, on this server, villagers wouldn't even make that much in, like, even close to the amount of time. But don't worry, because we still have more farms to build. As you guys can see here, we barely even went through any of that bone meal. And I haven't even been AFKing the spawners while this was on, too. So these are all still, like, full. Anyways, it is time to build the next farm. And I think I actually want to build this the opposite way, just so that it actually shoots out and goes into the same collector. So we're going to go ahead and start doing that now. And yeah, I think that's everything. And done. And so now let's go ahead and link up the hoppers to this chest. All right, well, these hoppers look a little bit whack, but now this should actually be distributing all the way down to here once these chests get full. And we're going to AFK this again, and I'm going to check and make sure that all of that works. Okay, time to turn them on. Boom. Boom. And yeah, now we wait. Holy crap. I don't know how that maths, but with 2 of these, we make 19K every 4 minutes. So there's only one thing left to do. Build 3 more of them. Well, that was random and a little bit weird, and I lied. We only ended up building 2 more, but there is a reason, and that is because we didn't actually have enough skeleton spawners at the time to produce enough bone meal for 3 more. Alright, so we have just jumped forward into the future, about a 24-hour time period. And as you guys can see, we have all 4 farms running, and these are actually able to stay filled completely with bone meal now for the entirety of the time that they're running. And now the reason for that is because I actually got about 100 more skeleton spawners over the past 24 hours to actually just go ahead and fill this farm out. With that said, this probably looks completely different to you. So let me break this down real quick. Previously, we had the autocrafters in the floor going upwards, and they kept on getting stuck on the hopper. So we fixed that by making the hoppers run in sideways into the crafters, and the crafters also shooting out sideways as well. It was also annoying having to break in place every single observer, so we just hooked them up onto one timer here, as you guys can see. And as far as the item filters not working, what we did was just literally create another item filter right beside it. So just in case anything gets past the first one, nothing will get past the second one. Now, the only problem that we're having currently is that we are literally getting too much bones and arrows to be able to filter out fast enough. So eventually, we're going to go ahead and expand this farm even more to make it so that we can actually craft in 3 different rows right here, all at the same time feeding into the same path of bone meal. And then once we do that, we'll be able to add an entire row here of farms. Also off camera, as you guys can see here, we did add these minion setup, which this also makes us around 5,000 every 4 minutes. So it's nothing major, but it is a pretty good source of income on the side. But yeah, as far as the farm goes, I'm going to AFK this and I will show you guys how much we make every 4 minutes. So as you guys can see in chat, we have made $43,895.17. That is over $10,000 a minute. But yeah, so obviously this is very OP. So 279 skeleton spawners equals about 8.4 villager spawners, which if we do the math equals $117,000 an hour. Compared to this farm, after 1 hour of farming this, equals $635,000, 134 cents, which is just about 6 times more profitable for the exact same cost. So yeah, I think with all of that out of the way, we're going to call the video here, and you guys are going to have to stay tuned for when we utilize this farm in the next video to become the richest player on the server. We're going to do a little bit of revamping and expanding in order to make that happen, but I really do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.